Hello and welcome to this week's reflection brought to you from the Selwyn Foundation Chaplains. My name is Pam Tizzard and it's my privilege to bring you some thoughts to reflect on this week. This coming Sunday, the church all around the world will be acknowledging Pentecost, often celebrated as the birthday of the church and signifying new beginnings. Taking place 50 days after Easter, Pentecost in the time of the apostles was a great and grand harvest celebration. The streets of Jerusalem were clogged with thousands of pilgrims who had come from every point of the compass to celebrate the goodness of God and the bringing in of the wheat harvest. Today, many of our churches acknowledge the day by having a celebratory party with lots of red and yellow decorations on display. There will be a generally upbeat and festive atmosphere with lively singing. And all of this is arranged to symbolise the events that took place at that first Pentecost occurrence after Jesus had ascended to heaven. Of course, this year will be celebrated a bit differently with COVID-19 still very much to the fore, but you get the general idea. Imagine just for a moment that first post-resurrection Pentecost gathering where we read there were tongues of fire, strange languages being spoken, the disciples appearing to be drunk. It was quite some party by all accounts. But more than all the strange occurrences, this was the day when the disciples were given extra power. The day they put behind them the hesitations and fear and became non-conformists. The day they stepped out to make changes in their world. Their experience got me to thinking about people in modern history who have stepped out of their comfort zones, who have stepped up and spoken out to try and make a difference. One of those people that stands out for me is a woman called Rosa Parks. On December the 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old African-American seamstress, refused to give up her seat to a white man while riding a city bus in Montgomery, Alabama, a state known for its hard segregation laws. In addition to the segregated seating on Montgomery city buses, African Americans were often made to pay their bus fare at the front of the bus, then get off the bus and re-enter through the back door. It was not uncommon for the bus driver to drive off before the African American passenger was able to get back on the bus. It was time for a radical change. On this particular day, when a group of whites boarded the bus, the driver commanded the black passengers to vacate their seats. Despite the hostile looks from the bus driver and the other passengers, Rosa Parks refused to get up. For doing this, she was arrested and fined for breaking the laws of segregation. Rosa Parks' refusal to leave her seat sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, an event that lasted 181 days and is considered the beginning of the modern civil rights movement. Why did she do it? Rosa Parks was not too old to get up nor too tired from a long day at work. Instead, Rosa Parks was just fed up with being mistreated. And she describes it in her autobiography. The only tired I was tired of giving in. Then there's Agnes Gonja-Boyajou, for whose mispronunciation of name I apologise. Agnes is, of course, better known to us all as Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Of Albanian Indian descent, she was born into a wealthy family and at the age of 12 felt strongly the call of God. She was ridiculed by her brother for wanting to become a nun. However, the call of God was so strong that at the age of 18, she was prepared to put aside family protests to spread the love of Christ, and she became a missionary, ministering to the poorest of the poor in India. When Mother Teresa passed away in 1997, she left behind over 4,000 missionary of charity sisters in 610 centres in 123 countries. Neither of these women were highly educated or had any special powers. They simply made a conscious decision to speak out, to stand up for what they believed in order to make a change in our world. Over the years, there have been a number of others who have stood out. Martin Luther King, Terry Waite, And even now, those in our own government and health sectors who have gone against much of the world and taken decisive action to save our lives. No matter what political persuasion we may have, or the pain that the current period of COVID-19 has put our country through, we are alive because they stood up and spoke out early, in sharp contrast to many other world governments. I'm sure all of you will be able to name people who have gone against the grain of normal expectations, who have rocked the boat, so to speak, and have made a real difference to people's lives. So let's take a moment to be still, to take a deep breath in, to reflect and think about some of them. Who do you admire for taking a stand and making a difference? It might even be someone in your own family. As we approach again the Festival of Pentecost, I invite you to think about what fire burns within you for change. Is there something that you might be prepared to do about it? And in the process, just maybe begin to make a difference in the world? The challenge is before us. So can we dare, even for a moment, to be an instrument for change? We may not be a Rosa Parks, a Martin Luther King, a Mother Teresa, or any other person whom you truly admire. Few people are called to stand out in such a prominent way. However, we can all make a difference. When we can all join our voices together, when we can speak up for change. In a few days' time, a short online church life survey is going to be available for all of us to have a say in assessing the effectiveness of online services and other forms of support during the COVID-19 lockdown. The link will be available at the end of this reflection for you to follow up with. And if you're wondering what difference could your small input possibly make, remember the words of Mother Teresa. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. And we may not all be able to do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. So go ahead, stand up, speak out, dare to be different, and may God's blessings be with you.